Hey, it's Elisa watching Half Asian Tarot Queen, and when I split the deck, I got the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands, so that's really interesting. This is like, it's like a harsh truth that's being revealed perhaps to this Queen of Wands. This is like a fire sign. So the Queen of Wands, when she's like good energy, she can be like really confident and sexy and like, you know, a manifester and just like getting things done, you know. But when she's in a bad energy, she can be like super toxic and just like draining and narcissistic and bad, you know. So it's just sort of like there's maybe a harsh truth being revealed to this person. I mean, she came out in the upright, but I like always keep all of my cards in the upright, so I don't know what that really means. But I'm gonna keep pulling cards because we'll see. We shall see. But it does appear as if something is coming to a head. A bunch of stuff just fell out, so I'm gonna... Okay, I'm not gonna take that because it was underneath. Okay, so we have at the bottom, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is like slow and steady wins the race. Like the Knight of Pentacles, it indicates that things are like moving forward, but slowly. Like the Knight of Pentacles is like the most like deliberate of all the knights. You know, the other knights kind of have like rash and it's like fast action that's not necessarily sustainable. You know, it's like fly by night, but this guy like builds things to last. So there is movement forward that's happening, but whatever this movement is causing heartbreak and confusion. So that's really interesting, and especially also because there's this harsh truth being revealed. So I'm gonna keep pulling cards and see what we get. Yeah, it's interesting because there's been a lot of readings about this truth coming in and like changing the game, and that's just like happening across the board. So I wonder if it has to do with that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is getting like crazy. This is really getting crazy. Okay, let's pull one more. Okay. All right. So we got the owl. This came out recently. I'll try to see if I can find which reading it was and link it. But the owl is a sign of, I mean, it's just like looking out for the signs and synchronicities, because there is protection from you from like the spiritual realm, and like they're trying to send some signs your way. So like keep your eyes peeled. And then we have the curse. So this can often be like a family curse, but oftentimes at the root of this curse is sort of like a distorted perception of reality that like maybe was inherited from your family or people in your, you know, sphere of influence. But like, so for example, a common one is like this sort of like sense of lack or like a scarcity mentality, and so like you kind of like keep carrying that forward, you know, because you're not in a sort of like mindset of like attracting abundance or manifesting, you know. So that's one. Like another one could be like you know, toxic relationships, or like, you know, like a cycle of abuse, or, you know, something that's like at the root caused by some sort of like distortion. And then we have the Ancient Ones. So this is a card of like your ancestors. So it's really interesting because there's this, you know, we're getting signs and synchronicities from the other side, being watched over, and then there's this like family curse, and then, you know, your ancestors are watching over you. So there's this total message of like help from the ancestors and being watched over. And this looks really like kind of epic, to be honest. I'm gonna go to the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot and see what I can pick up. Yeah, like, right, I mean, I've been like relating a lot of things to Ukraine because it's like such powerful energy on the ground, and I think really demonstrating a lot of what's happening in the collective consciousness. But like just before I started recording this, like I was watching the news and there was this video and it was talking about you know, the war in Ukraine, and how like Putin had, like, whether he's like conscious of it or not, is like repeating this pattern that had happened right before the fall of the Soviet Union, where like they invaded Afghanistan and it ended up costing them so much money and so many lives that you know, eventually they ended up having to withdraw, but like it had caused so much like instability to the economy of the Soviet Union that was what caused the collapse. And so it's sort of like history is repeating, you know, because it's like the curse of Russia almost, you know. And so it's like universally these like distortions in reality are sort of being confronted, you know. But we have our ancestors watching over us, and they're trying to send us signs to help us. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I just got the Queen of Wands again, so like maybe we'll get a little bit more context. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Swords. So, I mean, this does sort of, it does sort of signify like the end of a conflict, you know, but at the same time, it's not where there's like an amicable ending. It's like there's winners and there's losers, you know, and like somebody's going to come out on top and somebody is not. So that's really interesting. And then we have the Nymph of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands again, Revolution, and the Two of Wands. So this really indicates like a turning point, like a fork in the road where you're going to go like one way or the other. And that's really interesting because there's been this whole theme in the readings for the last week about this sort of bifurcation of destinies and sort of like this truth kind of revealing, you know, like there's been this sort of shift, you know, with the pandemic, and like half the people are sort of like in alignment with the reality on the ground, and then, I mean, it might not be half, but like a certain number, and then there's another sort of tribe of people that's like trying to hang on to the past and trying to force it to stay the same, you know. And so the reading that I just did, it was called Burning Down the House, and it was like talking about how everything is sort of like crumbling to the ground, and like it's sort of like the destiny is going to be revealed depending on like which side you've aligned yourself with, you know? It's like what's behind door number curse is like total crumbling of your reality. And like, whereas like if you've followed the signs and synchronicities and like been in alignment with the truth, then like your door might open a different path, you know? So yeah, so there's some sort of tangible offer that's coming online. We have this Queen of Wands again, you know, so this is like a warrior queen too, you know, when it's in the upright. So it's like some sort of tangible offer coming to this warrior queen, but it's causing a total shakedown. So again, like this, I'm going to refer to the reading from yesterday, burning down the house, but we've had like several readings with this tower coming out recently. But regardless, we're kind of at this fork in the road where we're, you know, it's sort of like we're either going to go one way or the other. And like that's it, you know. So, okay, I'm going to go to the Queen of the Moon Oracle and pick a final card. But this really speaks to like total climactic drama. And like there's a reading recently called The Shit Hitting the Fan. Excuse my French or whatever, but like, I mean, it really kind of, this really kind of speaks to like the end of the road, you know, like things are having force. It's like change is happening, you know. And it's kind of ominous because, yeah, like when I turned on the news this morning, there's all this stuff, you know, like NATO's like building up troops on the eastern flank, and like, you know, Russia's escalating, and there's, you know, all this saber rattling, and it's just like, you know, like what's about to happen, like. But it does kind of look like, yeah, like I said, it doesn't, to me, it look like there's going to be some sort of compromise that's going to be reached. Like, it looks like somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, and that's what's going to happen, you know? We have the masculine, so we have all this yang energy where it's like, grrr, you know, like, like war, you know? Then we have this doorway to this new beginning. And we have self-love. So maybe self-love is sort of like what's going to heal this curse, you know? And in a way, like that's kind of like the whole thing with like Ukraine. They're just like, we're not going to be bullied anymore, and we're just going to stand up for ourselves, like grrr, because we're trying to open up a new beginning. That we deserve, that we actually deserve. So, yeah, it's really interesting because I think at the end, like these distortions are sort of like healed by like self-love and acceptance and coming into alignment with the truth. So, looks very climactic. But I'm sure I'll check in soon with more messages.